Hi, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Peggy Rometo with Star Signs. Now, if you're a Capricorn, born December 22nd to January 19th, what can you expect for the month of January? Let's tune in and find out. Right away, Capricorns. First of all, we have a full moon in Cancer that is January 4th coming up, and that energy is intense. It's like really intense, and for you, it's a little bit like I see it a little bit like being punched in the stomach, and then they kind of like apologize and dust you off. So it feels aggressive. The energy feels really aggressive, but then there also feels like there's a little bit of apology behind it. I'm sure you've all experienced somebody like that where they kind of punch you out and then they didn't realize they were so intense and then apologize. It feels like that sort of an intense energy with that full moon, and and I just feel like heart racing, things like that. Like there's a lot of energy, a lot to get done, a lot of pressure on you to figure things out, a lot of responsibility on your shoulder. And that's just kind of how the new year starts out. It does feel like there's an expansive quality overall in January for you. I feel like once you kind of get over this, it's almost like walking the gangplank the first 10 days of January. And then kind of once you get over that, you dive in and it's like this, oh, it's really nice, it's really beautiful. Why didn't I do this sooner? So whatever scenario or situation is going to come up this first week in January, you're going to be able to kind of just blow it off, dust it off by the next week. So it's a very kind of 1-2 punch, but you come out of it okay. It's or let's say that you rally. Let's put it that way. So for some of you, it will hurt. Let's look specifically as to how it might affect you. So specifically, we've got your money. So let's start with your money. Okay, so you've been burning through a lot of cash. You're just showing me burning through a lot of cash. And this first week may continue a little bit of that. But the good news is I see some of you have a lot of money to burn. So some of you have got money to burn. So that's a positive thing. Now, the good news is there's a lot of positive energy coming in for you, especially like around the new moon, which is January 20th. There's new opportunities, new people who want to do business with you or negotiate with you. A lot of people who are stepping up and wanting your goods and services or wanting to hire you specifically for something. There may be something that you're going to be speaking about or asked to speak about. That has to do with, well, just your communication skills. You may become an advocate or a spokesperson for someone. So don't be surprised if all of a sudden somebody taps you on the back and says, will you do this for me? You've got a great perspective. Or will you be an advocate for me? Or will you stand up for me? So there may be something that you end up doing some altruistic work for the misfortunate or for somebody who can't afford your services. And there's a little bit of that in there as well towards the end of the month. So there's a lot of different opportunities for you to be able to contribute, but at the same time, also feel a lot of money coming in, more so than you've had in a long time in terms of new opportunities and new contracts where you're actually paid. Okay, so a little bit philanthropic, but the majority, 80% is more business, better business, more stabilizing business for you. There's also going to be, you may be inspired, that's the word that's coming up, inspired to look at your financial outlook and get serious and focused on what's going to work for you. And this feels like it is long-term. It doesn't feel like it's trifle. It feels something that could last or expand for decades. And so whatever you invest in or choose to focus your shift in your financial portfolio, I feel like that's going to really run with it and go for a really long time. So it's a really good thing. And so those ideas will be coming in towards the end of January. Now we do have a Mercury retrograde January 21st to February 11th, where our planet of communication kind of goes to a standstill, and it just kind of creates this chaos here for us in our ability to communicate effectively. So what that means for you is that it's a good time to gather information, redo, rethink, replan, reorganize, all the kind of like do-over stuff. So it's more of a respite where you can sit back and kind of assess things that are going on. In this case, we're talking about your money. So I wouldn't act on anything or make any changes, because they also say it's not a great time to sign contracts or to recommit to somebody. And the reason being is with that planet being retrograde, it's kind of like we've got these blinders on and we can't really see. So we're apt to make a mistake, or vital information is being left out. Once that moves forward in mid-February, then by all means move forward. You know, sometimes, you know, life happens and you have to sign agreements and you have to do stuff. Then fine, that's good. But just make sure you double and triple check as much as you can all of the items and the fine print and all of that, to make sure that you're clear about exactly what you're getting yourself into or what you're setting yourself up for. And then you'll minimize any challenges. Now, as far as relationships go for Capricorn, let's see what's there for you for this month. There was somebody really aggressive towards you, really aggressive. It may be an ex, it may be an ex-lover, it may be an ex-marriage partner, it may be an ex-business partner, and that might have something to do with this new moon that's in the first part of the month. And so this aggressive individual, for some of you, it may be just somebody who's jealous of you, who doesn't like you, who sort of resents your position and feels a little irritated, maybe that you're calling them out or that you're inquiring about something that they're doing. And you may just like, whoa, dude, I'm just doing my job. But these people feels like you're ruffling their feathers, or they may take it personally, like you're personally trying to embarrass them. So there may be some odds with your relationships, your business or personal relationships early in January. Then as the month goes on, as far as your relationship goes, there's definitely more relaxation, a lot more fun, things being smoothed out. If you're married, there's a really nice opportunity for romance and love the weekend of January 16th, 17th, if that's a weekend, I think it is. It feels like it's a really, really lovely time, really nice, heartfelt experience. For those of you that are single, there's about that same time period, maybe even a little bit later, you may be crossing paths towards the end of the month, around the 24th, the 25th, with somebody new, somebody who piques your interest, somebody who's interesting. You know, some of you may be stinging a little bit from the exchange early in January that has nothing to do with this new person, by the way. So you just got to let that go. And this new person that shows up, they're not the last guy, right? They're not the last girl. So don't punish them for that, okay? Make sure you just kind of like karmically cut the ties from whatever happened in early January or what's being cleared out. It's a finishing of a debt. It's a completion. It's an ending. So, and this new beginning that's showing up with potentially with somebody new at the end of January has nothing to do with the other person. So it's somebody new. So that's a good thing. So there is an opportunity for a new romance and new love if you're looking for it, Capricorns, in the end of January. Okay, so let's just touch on health real quick for the month of January. You know, you guys are so resilient. You know, Capricorns are tend to be really strong. I feel like if you weren't feeling well, I feel like that already happened. It feels like moving into January, you feel like you have more vitality, you feel stronger to me. Some of you may have been dealing with some stomach issues, and if those are long-term digestive things, I think that you're going to get the proper support that you need, whether that's probiotics or a specific diet or lifestyle, you're going to come across that. So I think it's all right there for you to find. So whatever health remedies that you may be needing specifically for you, I think you may discover that in that second or third week of January. So if you've got a specific ailment, be on the lookout. There's going to be some things that are coming around, swirling around you that 10th through the 17th, that week, that may be more information. And then my teeth are coming up. I've got some pain in my teeth. So some of you may need to get to the dentist. Some of you may have some dental work that needs to be handled. Again, don't let those things wait. You're being prompted to do it. And I would also do that, you know, before the 21st, just because that's when the Mercury goes retrograde and the communication can be hampered. So I would do sort of those things earlier in the month if you can, the dental work or if there's, you know, anything else that you might need to be done, to be working on with your health. Feels like that would be a good opportunity to start it earlier rather than later. Let me see if there's anything else. Some of you are being asked to kind of look at your skincare regime and the face And I'm just seeing that there might be, some of you might be using too harsh chemicals, and you're getting too dry. So you may be dealing with a climate change. So just notice the ingredients that you're using, or notice how your skin is appearing. It feels like you may need to switch it up a little bit to get a better result. So anyway, all right, you guys, have an amazing year. I feel like, let's take a look for you overall this year for 2015 for Capricorns. This is, oh, nice. So it's just showing me like you've been on this slippery slope, and then it feels like there's just this opening momentum that starts to open up. There's been kind of this tangled confusion and stuff, and it feels like that is all correcting itself. And it's like you've been rolling downhill at 100 miles an hour, being tossed around, and now things kind of, finally slow down, so you can, no longer get dizzy anymore and sort of see what you need to do. So there's a lot of energy that's coming in this year that's going to help you get more settled, more focused. You're going to feel more valued. You're going to feel greater compensation for sure, for sure. A lot more money coming in for you guys this year than last year. This is such a better year for you than the last several years. So you've got some positive energy coming towards you this year, and your job is just to kind of say yes, keep moving forward, saying yes to it, and I like that. So it's really a good thing. So happy New Year, Caps, and I look forward to connecting with you again next month. Hi, so if you're an Aquarius born January 20th to February 18th, what's in store for you in January 2015? Let's tune in and find out. Wow, Aquarians, right away I step into your energy, and some of you are just mad, just mad. Feeling like somebody is making you look like the fool. So some of you are really upset about somebody around you that you feel has not worked out for you, or somehow or another has not taken you seriously, or has thrown you under the bus. It just feels like somebody else's behavior has reflected poorly on you, or your work, or your ability. So I see this really strong irritation, Aquarians, right away. And now we do have a full moon in Cancer, January 4th. Now, Cancer is the sign that a lot of us brings up heightened emotions. So it's like, rah, whatever you're going to be feeling, whether it's sad, or whether it's scared, or whether it's angry, you're angry, they're going to be heightened emotions. So a pretty intense period. And generally, full moons affect us for a couple of days after, so 4 or 5 days after January 4th. And then feels like the 9th or 10th, things are going to clear. But the advice for you, Aquarians, during that time is like, shh, calm yourself down. I'm being told you don't have all the facts, that there's a heavy perception or misperception. There is some truth to it, but it also feels like it's being pumped up and blown out of proportion. So whatever kind of information you receive this week, it's amplified. Your job is kind of turn down the volume, look at it, and then handle it as graceful as you can. And it feels like by doing that, it's not going to come back to haunt you. It's not nearly as bad as you think it is, and it can be rectified, it can be redeemed, it can be sorted out. So your job this week, whatever it is, whatever phone call you get that creates this like trickle down effect, and then you have to go give it to somebody else, it feels like a balancing of the emotions makes it all a little bit better, or that spoonful of medicine, it just goes down a little bit better. So whatever it is that information that you have to receive and then regurgitate and then deliver, less is more. So stay calm, and I feel like you'll get through this. And again, it's not as bad as it emotionally feels, but it's not so much disappointment with you guys as I feel more irritation. In your sign, I feel I feel cranky, and I feel angry, and I feel justified. So, it's a raging ego is what we have. And so what I'm asking you to do is kind of unplug from that, and just, if you can, deal with the facts and be calm. And then it feels like next week, it's things are much better and open up in a much better place for you guys overall. So let's look, since it feels like we're talking about people here, so let's go ahead and connect a little bit deeper into personal relationships, and because that felt like more as like your career, although it could be as well in your personal relationships. But let's see if you're married, what we can expect here in January for you. There's a nice exchange. There's a nice back and forth. Now, during the full moon, it is a little tense. I can feel a little more tension in my body for sure. But it also feels like there's some tranquility or tranquil times ahead, especially around the weekend of January 17th. It feels like there's more open energy. I feel like I can breathe. I feel like there's greater understanding. I feel like there's great compassion from my partner coming towards me. And it just may be that, you know, Aquarians, you've been working really hard, and you're kind of tough, and it feels like you finally sort of have this, I don't want to call it a meltdown, but you let go. Like you let go. And when you let go, your partner is able to step in and really give you love and support. So Aquarians, I know how tough you can be. Some of you guys just need to let go and let the love in from those around you. And I think that you're going to feel really happy and really satisfied with that sort of relationship that's going to blossom and open up for those of you that are married and partnered. Now, if you're single, single Aquarians, what can you expect? There is, I'm seeing, initially feeling a little missing, like this first week in January, almost like somebody didn't step in to help you out, or somebody wasn't there for you. So a little bit of disappointment around a friend or a loved one who wasn't quite there for you. Or it could just be that, you know, you were wishing that you had a soulmate to help you through this little mini crisis here this first week, or this mini kind of like hiccup, and you don't have anybody really there to lean on. So it could even be that. But as we move into the month of January, there's really around the 27th that's coming in, an opportunity to potentially meet somebody new, somebody who's interesting, somebody who's thoughtful, somebody who's kind of like on board with your thoughts and ideas. It feels like it's a random encounter. It doesn't feel like it's a setup or anything like that. And it really feels like it's just about, you know, you being you and just going about your business and doing what you do, and that attracts this individual into your life in the end of January. So definitely feel like there's opportunity for you Aquarians to be able to fall in love this month with somebody new and somebody special who also recognizes your qualities and sees you for who you are. As far as new moons, we have a new moon January 20th. Now, for Aquarians, there's going to be an opportunity for you to do a lot of writing, focused writing. You may be doing some pitching around that time, something for you. It could be a new idea. It could be a new book. It could be a new conversation. And it may be a little premature. In other words, you may not have it all sketched out. You may not have it all figured out. But the opportunity presents itself so you can think, what the heck, I'm just going to say something. Now, my challenge with this is that it's right close. It's January 20th is the new moon, and that January 21st to February 11th, Mercury goes retrograde, which means the planet of communication kind of goes a little haywire, and people don't hear then what we actually said, or the meaning gets turned around, and it's all this confusion. It's like having blinders on, and you can't really see what it is. So if you've got an opportunity that you're going to pitch something or do something new, with that new moon, I would really flush it out. I would withhold the communication until after February if you can. Or if you do, just don't be as specific so that it gives it kind of room to breathe. So if you get too detailed, my concern is that one, they're not going to like it and they're disappointed, or they're going to misunderstand what you're saying, and so it doesn't go anywhere. So just kind of hold off until February, or be very loose with the idea. And then that way you won't get pinned down. So when February 11th goes by and February 12th and the planet starts to move forward and we start to see what we couldn't see before, now we can really nail it down and be more specific and really be accurate with it. Unless you pitch something or do it a little sooner in the month, but it's really coming up that it's around that new moon and that new creative energy. And so this period of retrograde really gives you an opportunity to be really super creative, really thoughtful, really resourceful, and really abundant. And you guys have such great intellect, married with, you know, metaphysics, that I really feel like it could be something even spiritual that awakens within you. So it's a really good opening for you. I see like things coming up, like the energy coming up and open for you. So that's really, really nice stuff. Positive things for you. Now, as far as your money goes for the month of January. Okay, so I'm feeling like you're going to have more than you think you're going to have. So I definitely think there's going to be more money coming in. There is a little setback or challenge that does happen during the retrograde period. It could be things like, you know, your furnace goes on the blink and you have to get that fixed, or your car, you know, it affects our electronics. It could be a computer thing, you know, those little things that you need extra money for, the unexpected breakdowns. That, you know, I'm seeing that could be a potential for you guys for sure. There is something that was at the end of last year that you thought was over and done with, or it never kind of came to fruition, that's going to come back here towards the end of January, early February. More momentum being pumped into it, that idea or that conversation. And there's actually money with it, so it's good. There's actually money with it and opportunity, and that might happen early February, but definitely you'll start to get wind of it towards the end of January. So nice stuff is with your money. There's momentum there and happening for you. Let's look at your health. I feel like your health has kind of been up and down, a little bit all over the place. You want to get a little more rigorous with yourself in terms of what you want to do, make a decision and focus. The good news is you're going to have the support of the universe to kind of get this monkey off your back. So, you know, some of you have been dealing with certain things for years, and it's just time to be done. So I feel like this, like, that's it, I'm done. There's a shift in the energy that you guys actually just go, that's it. This is how it's going to look. No more horsing around. And I'm going to make the commitment. So I do feel like that's a positive thing for you guys. So all in all, really good, exciting time for you Aquarians. Now, as far as the whole year looks for you, it feels like there's momentum that's going to be opening up for you, and you're going to see some mushrooming positive things in May, really escalating. Good stuff for you guys in May, and then you're going to see a further blossoming of that in October. So whatever it is you're working on, keep pushing hard. You'll start to see some momentum in May, and October really blossoms and really glows. So whatever it is, whether that's you're trying to get married, trying to get pregnant, trying to birth a business, whatever it is that you're working on, there's going to be momentum there for you this year, especially around those months, May and October. All right, guys, have an amazing 2015. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for liking my page, and I look forward to connecting with you again next month. So if you're a Pisces born February 19th to March 20th, what can you expect for the month of January 2015? Let's tune in and find out. Right away, Pisces, I feel like you're doing battle, and it starts out with January kind of like this, you know, so whatever you're fighting, it takes a lot of your energy, and there's some frustration with it, and it also feels like an internal battle. So it could be something inwardly that you're dealing with, or that's coming to a head. Now, there's a full moon in Cancer January 4th, and that full moon is actually affecting all of the signs. It's a pretty intense moon, it feels like, and it's different signs. It's bringing up different emotions, because Cancer is heightened energy around emotions, and for you it feels like it's around the heart, and my heart hurts, and it could be that, you know, you've been reprimanded by somebody. It could mean that maybe I'm feeling a little bit like my tail's between my legs, like maybe you didn't get a good report from your boss, or you may have been unjustly slandered, or maybe it was just, but it just feels like it feels a little bit of, I feel very sensitive, and I feel very hurt. My heart hurts. And there's also this unexpected element to it. Like I wasn't expecting. From you, I'd expect that, but not from you. It's kind of like that sort of energy. And so it just hurts my heart a little bit. The good news is this is sort of a temporary energy. It's a couple of days. It feels like by the 9th or the 10th, it's going to kind of breathe easy. It's blown over. You moved on from it. Forget about it. You know, everything works out okay. So it is very much a temporary energy. And so the best thing that you can do during this time is just observe, just kind of become the observer. Don't take anything too seriously. Take it to heart, but don't let it weigh you down. You know, so take it in, listen to it, be thoughtful with it. Is that true? Is it not true? And if it's true, then just correct it and move on. If it's not true, address it, move on. You don't want to add any more fuel to the fire, because if you add fuel to the fire, it could turn into an all-out war, and nobody wins. Like, you're both injured in this war. So whether it's with your boss or a coworker, but it feels like it is something that is personal to you and personally painful. And it could even be between your spouse. So I'm not feeling it so much. I'm feeling it more like within the work. Now, let's look at your overall career for the month of January, since it feels like that's what's coming up. There's a big relief, like, you know, like I dodged a bullet, like around January 10th or 12th. So whatever this was, it passes. I feel like you get through this, so there's relief around it. And then there's new dynamics that start to come in, and there's a crossroads I'm seeing around January 18th. So some of you may have to choose direction you want to take, or have an opportunity to do something different, or to look at a different place. Some of you may actually be moving. Some of you may be called to move, and it feels like more of a short distance move. It doesn't feel like a long distance move. It feels short. Like, all of a sudden you may decide to go to school and go jump into a dorm, or it may be an opportunity to move. You know, from, say, you're a young married couple in an apartment, and you get an opportunity to buy your first home. Something like that. It feels like it's new. It feels like it's a new beginning. And there's a lot of hopefulness. There's a lot of positive energy around it. So I wouldn't be surprised if something unexpected like that comes up for you with an opportunity to move. Now, there is money involved as well. So there's positive money coming for you. And oh, nice. Not little money, big money. So they're showing you big money. So there's a big money. It could come in the form of a gift. Now, that could actually come in maybe not the end of this January, but the end of February. So a big gift of money. Now, this could mean that maybe you applied for a mortgage and you got the mortgage on the house, or maybe you applied for a bank loan and you got the bank loan, or a student loan and you got the student loan. So it could be that kind of money. It could also, so maybe not unexpected, but that it's been granted. So big money coming in for you in the latter part of February. As far as the rest of your money goes, I've got this pain right in the center of my back that I'm trying to adjust around. And a lot of times pain in the back can mean, in the center of the back could mean the back of the heart. So it could be that there's a wound there that you're nursing that had to do with a personal relationship, that you got hurt recently, and that you were or backstabbed. It could have to do with that full moon around January 4th. But that, I do feel like it is going to clear up. But I'm just kind of conscious of it right now in my body. It feels a little tense, a little tight. There is a new moon, January 20th. Now, for Pisces, a new moon, it's really going to help your creativity. And I see you writing. And there's also kind of a protection around it. Like, you're not really ready to share with what you're writing, or what you're thinking, or what you're doing. And it's a very creative process for you. And it's a good opportunity for you to kind of like put the mental mind down on paper so you can start to manifest it. It's got to get it out of your head so you can see all the things that you're thinking of, because you guys have so many opportunities. You may be pulled in so many different directions. You've got a lot of talents and a lot of opportunity. And the universe at this point is going to really bring a lot of information down to be distilled. So you've got this real psychic sign, this real etheric sign, and you may bring all that energy down into the body and manifest it in the physical world. So there may be writing or conversations, or just being able to look and assess a situation and go, aha, I see it all exactly what needs to happen and how it needs to be laid out. So there's a lot of creative energy that's going to happen for you this month, and it's going to affect you, it feels like, for the whole next year. So this download of information, or this insight that you're going to get, has momentum to it that's going to help carry you for this whole year. So it's really positive stuff. Now, as far as personal relationships go, let's look at your personal relationships. So for those of you that are married or in a personal relationship, whether it's same-sex or not, it doesn't matter. I'm looking at just relationships in general. And let's see, for love relationships, for those of you that are already involved, there's a recommitment that's happening. There's you know, it feels like both of you kind of have, what I'm seeing is back to back, right? So you're supporting each other. There's a back to back energy, and you've got your arms interlaced. So we're like, but both arms aren't interlaced, right? Just one of them. And so two things feel like, one, you've got your partner's back, but you need the other hand free to do your own battles. And I see the same thing with them. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Like you're independent thinking, you're handling your own situation, but at the same time you're leaning against each other for support, or you're there for each other. That's how I interpret that vision. And so it feels like it's a really nice, powerful connection for you guys. Now, there may be some of you that aren't going to make this relationship last, and I think that if it's on its way out, you're really going to see that by March. It feels like by March 15th, if this relationship were going to unravel, you would know that by middle of March. But the rest of you, it feels like there's just this synergy that happens, and it's really positive. And for the month of January, I feel like there's some nice moments. January 17th seems like a really nice day. It feels like there's some nice touches or nice surprises that you bestow on each other around the January 17th to the 20th. Has a nice harmonious connection for the two of you. Now, if you're single and you're looking for love, let's look and see, Pisces, if there's an opportunity for that in the month of January. Okay, absolutely. In the first week, you're going to have to just get out of your own way, because your energy wants to bowl people over. It's like, it's almost like you're riding a wave and you can't stop it. So it's kind of like you can't stop what falls out of your mouth. You can't help yourself. You're like tripping over yourself and right? Destroying everything in your path. So you want to be careful that first week, Pisces, that you're not coming on too strong, bowling people over, or too aggressive. So lean back a little bit, be calm a little bit, not so intense. You'll get an opportunity for some new relationships around the 20th. More so, it feels like next month. I mean, it feels like there's a cycle that you're going to start to be in. And towards the end of January, by the end of February, like by February 20th, it feels like, well, it feels like during your sign, Pisces, it really feels like it really blossoms your ability to attract your soulmate. So if it doesn't happen the end of this month, it feels definitely, if that's what you want, it feels like there's a big opportunity for you to meet a soulmate connection in February for sure, like February 20th into March. So very nice. Now, as far as money goes for Pisces, I feel like initially the money that you get, you're going to have to make it stretch. The good news is you know how to make it stretch, and it does stretch. So what you have, you make last. So I like that a lot. Now, there is going to be more money coming in. You're going to start to see some of that trickle in towards the end of January, after January 20th, 25th. It starts to, like, I start to feel lighter, like my shoulders feel like there's a burden lifted off of it, and it just starts to get lighter. Now, maybe some of your expenses are going down then, because sometimes if it's not income going up and there's relief, it could be expenses are going down. Cars are being paid off, or houses being paid off, or whatever it is, but kids are out of college, or whatever it is. It just feels like expenses goes down. So that's part of the relief that I'm feeling for you guys, Pisces. All in all, your health, I feel like this tightness in my chest, and some of you may have had an amplified cold or sinus infection, kind of flu. I feel a little weak or a little tired from that. I want to sneeze. But I do feel like you're recovering nicely. And you want to keep warmer. Wear layers. They're showing me in particular, like your, excuse me. Some of you are sick. I'm sorry. I feel bad. But I'm being told to have you wear layers and drink warm tea. There's also these immune points right here for your immune system that you can tap on to help connect with those, stimulate the immune system, build that immune system. Drinking water, especially warm water, helps with your digestion and also helps build the immune system, I'm told. So it's another thing you might want to look at, especially if you're feeling cold on the inside. Just drinking plain warm water, not lemon water, but just plain warm water, is coming up as a remedy. It would make sense because you guys are so water-based, right? You're the fish, that plain warm water would actually serve you. So I definitely feel your health getting better, but some of you are just a little tired and run down. So take care of yourself, nurture yourself. we do have Mercury goes retrograde January 21st to February 11th. And that's usually when things slow down. And I think Pisces, during that time, you'll get an opportunity to regroup. Now, for some of you, that means there's a lot more work because you've been sick and now you've got to catch up. Don't put pressure on yourself. You're going to have the time to do that. It's just, you know, slow and methodical, and you'll get there. I think that the retrograde also is an opportunity for you to be able to reconfigure how you want to look at this upcoming year, these next 12 months. Where do you want to project yourself? Where do you want to see your future? There's an opportunity for you to do more visual, where you're seen by more people, speaking, talking, writing, communicating, internet, a lot of access to other people and other people's money. So there's opportunities for you guys that will be shaping up in January, and then towards that end of January, when Mercury is retrograde, you'll be able to get some wheels turning in motion, and you'll be able to utilize that time to both catch up and plan your positive goals and everything for the next 12 months. Because right now, I feel like some of you are a little bit scattered and disheveled from just the holidays or just from being sick or whatever has gone on in your life. And so you're going to get a chance to kind of regroup that January 21st to February 11th. And anything else you need to know? There's really going to be some nice surprises for you this year. And I wouldn't say surprises, but it's not really surprises. They are, well, surprise in that things go smoother than you think. Surprise that your dreams can happen faster than you think. So for 2015 for you guys, you can manifest much faster than you had expected. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, stop trying. I mean, that's the old story, right? You know, just stop trying and just receive. Just trust that it's going to happen. Put your head down and go to work. See the vision, feel the joy and the excitement of that vision, of it happening, let go, and then just go to work. And I just see it, whatever it is that you want, happening faster. So guys, have an amazing 2015. Thanks for connecting with me. Thanks for viewing and sharing my YouTube channel. I appreciate it. For all the comments and everything from 2014. You guys are really great. And I look forward to supporting you again this year. So if you're an Aries, born March 21st to April 19th, what can you expect for the month of January 2015? Let's tune in and find out. So Aries, I see you kind of going into January celebrating, like excited and happy and recharged and positive about what's coming. And then it feels like there's a new moon, actually a full moon that happens in Cancer January 4th. And I feel like somebody just comes in and you're celebrating and they pop your balloon. And what I'm seeing it is like you're blowing this huge bubble gum and you're excited about, like, look how big it is. I've never gotten it this big before. And somebody comes in and just pops it and it splatters all over your face. So I interpret that to be that somebody kind of wakes you up and you have this illusion about somebody or an illusion about a situation and they burst your bubble. A little bit like finding out there's no Santa Claus. It's kind of like that. It's a real, like, what? Really? It could even be a project that you thought you were further along in, or let's say you're building a house and the contractor's telling you one thing and you fly in and you see that it's not so. They've been lying to you or giving you the best case scenario, which is not at all the best case scenario. It turns out to be the worst case scenario. It's a disappointment. It's a real, it breaks the illusion. You have this really fantastic, exciting illusion, and then somebody bursts your bubble. So I'm sorry to have to report that to you, and my eyes are itching. So maybe some of you guys have allergies as well. But in your energy, my eyes are itching. So Aries, the good news is that, you know, with this reality check, something can be done. And some of you will kind of roll up your sleeves and go, okay, now we got to change things. Now we have to go to work. Now we have to do this. And I don't feel like it's a financial thing, by the way. So I don't want any of you to stress out and go, oh my God, you know, is my accountant lying to me? Is it? No. It's not like that. This feels more like hopes, dreams, wishes, or an idea that you're kind of like moving in that direction. Gosh, my eyes are itching like crazy in your energy because you're seeing it one way and it's so not true. And I'm sorry, you know, but once you actually kind of see the reality, it's different. And but the good news is once you see the reality, now you can do something about it. And this is a real sort of like a temporary pain. Starts around January 4th, give or take on the either side of that. And then usually lasts 4 or 5 days until that energy kind of dissipates from that full moon. Usually it's about 5 days out. So by January 10th, you know, you should, you know, be feeling better. You should, you know, feel more positive. Some of you, this is going to be a disappointment. I mean, you know, some of you, it's going to be hard. I'm just, you know, I'm seeing some different scenarios for some people that might be hard. And and I really don't want to, you know, I don't want to say them because I don't want you to worry about it. So I'll just put it this way. It is temporary. Whatever the quote unquote setback is or the reality is, you can do more with this real picture. So once you have the real picture, now what happens is you also, with that picture, you get an alignment to really make it happen and to really manifest what you want to have happen and or what the problem was, and you can eliminate the problem then. So if you can look at this as being powerful, then and with once you get the answer, you can be powerful, then that next week you'll be able to go, aha, I know what to do now. I can see where the problem was, and now this is how we fix it. So you are going to get the antidote to whatever this disappointment is or this break in the reality, and all in all, it's going to be a good thing. Now, let's look at personal relationships for those of you that are in a coupled relationship. Let's see what the month of January looks like for you, Aries. Just continue to blossom, continue to bloom. It's a real harmonious relationship for those of you that are in marriage bliss together. I mean, it really feels like real positive stuff. It feels kind of like just floating, like the trials and tribulations you had are behind you and moving forward in a real positive way. Especially in the month of January, there's a real opening. Once we get by this January 10th date, it feels like you guys kind of fly together. There is a little bit of like, you know, pulling each other along, but that's what relationships do. And then it feels like there's this real blossoming in March, so I like that a lot. Now, if you're single, what can you expect? Well, there's a little bit of having patience. There's a little bit of not needing to do everything yourself. So it's about put the focus on yourself, put the focus on you and what you want to do, where you want to be. And then it feels like towards the end of January, when you pull your head up and look around, you start to see more opportunity, you start to see more potential, and you start to see some interesting people. So it feels like towards the end of January, there's definitely some interest in you and interesting people that you might be interested in. Because I do see a lot of times where people are interested in you, but you're kind of like, not really, not feeling it, and that's okay. So I do feel like at the end of January, you will be feeling it if you want, if those of you that are looking to create and manifest a personal relationship. Okay, so let's look at your health, Aries. For some of you, I've got some sinus drainage happening as we're talking. Sinuses, a lot of times, most of the time, indicate destructive behavior, anger toward yourself, inner anger, anger directed at oneself. And so you may have an opportunity to clear up some of those emotional issues towards yourself and free yourself up from this sinus drainage for sure. There is also, I feel like some of you may have sciatic or hip issues that have happened. Those two are going to be, the good news is this, you're going to be getting stronger. So for those of you that have these little aches and pains or challenges, you're going to see yourself getting stronger. There's also going to be more emphasis on your physical routine coming up here in this first part of the year, in which you're going to feel more compelled to go do something physically that's going to help you. There is also an opportunity for you to really kind of meet some goals. Some of you may want to find yourself in a more competitive situation. So you may find yourself joining a running club or joining, and you may go, what is she talking about? But for some of you, you are going to feel this flip go on towards the end of January, where all of a sudden you get hungry and you decide that, you know what, I got to exercise anyway, but I like to be competitive. And so I'm going to go do something competitive. And it could even be ballroom dancing competition. I mean, there's a lot of ways for us to move our physical body and have at the same time a competitive connection happening. So look for that, Aries, this year. Definitely feel like you're going to be more mobile, more physical, and in better health overall for the whole year. Let me see if there's anything else that we're missing for you. Money. There may be something that has been draining you financially. It could be a family member that you've been helping out. It could be just your own situation that has been difficult, but I feel like January, there's this little bit of a pit right there that has caused you some money. It could be a car, anything like that. You may see that amplified a little bit. Mercury goes to retrograde January 21st to February 11th, which essentially means that the planet of communication is going to come to a halt. And how that affects us is we don't receive all the information, or it is withheld, or we misunderstand. So there's all this confusion. And in addition, the energy tends to mess with our computers and our cell phones. And so we get all these technical glitches, and it can be a real frustrating time if you want it to be. But most of the time, what's recommended is for you to be able to use that time for quiet time, to go in, redo, reconnect, reconvene, restart any path in life, any course in life. Kind of look around and see what needs to be altered or shifted for you. Now, Mercury retrograde is going to give you also an opportunity for you to be able to feel like this. Really feels like more in control. Like I'm wanting to feel more in control. And I feel like I've got a greater sense of clarity about where I'm going. I would be cautious to jump into something new during this time because we don't always get to see the other side, but you could loosely commit to things or keep planning it until Mercury goes direct, which would be around February 12th. And then 2 or 3 days past that date, so by February 15th, you'd be clear to make plans, decisions. You should have all the answers that you need. All your due diligence should be done. If you're thinking about changing careers or jobs or making a pitch to someone, would it be best to wait until middle of February? Just seeing if there's anything else for Aries. No, I really feel like overall this year, you guys are going to get stronger, more powerful, more buff, better looking. Who doesn't want that? So, and you're going to grow up just a bit. So, we always tease that Aries are the babies of the planet, right? So this maturing that's going to happen this year is going to be done in a really sweet way. So I really feel like it's a more stronger and powerful you by the end of 2015. So all in all, a really good year for you guys, and a lot of support. You're going to find yourself being called on to support others this year. And you have the energy to do it. You have the ability to do it. So just make sure that you're picking the organization or the individuals that you want to support because you're going to be spending a lot of time with them, and that's not bad. It's a good thing because they need your energy, your expertise, and it's going to really help you grow, and a lot of blessings are going to come to you from all the work that you're going to do with others this year. So all in all, it's a really great, exciting year for you guys. So thank you, Aries, for all of your Facebook posts and your comments below my videos and sharing my videos, my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to supporting you this year in 2015. So have a happy new year. Happy New Year, Taurus. So Taurus, if you're born April 20th to May 20th, what can you expect for the month of January 2015? Let's tune in and find out. Okay, so Taurus, ooh, right away, coming into the first week of January, I see you like hitting your head. And so it's this banging head, and it has to do with the full moon in Cancer on January 4th. And it's just like, I should have known, why'd I do that? And I almost feel like you gave somebody like you put your trust into somebody where you shouldn't have. Almost like maybe people told you about this individual or warned you about this individual, and you went, no, no, they're not like that. And I feel like it's like you hired them. I almost feel like it's an employee who works for you, or somebody that you've hired, or somebody that you've empowered around you, and now it's come back to haunt you. Like, what? You did what? You were supporting them? How could you support them? Didn't you know they were like this? It's kind of like that kind of energy. Or it could be that they quit. They could be somebody that's close to you, and they've said, no, I'll never leave you, and the next thing you turn around, they've turned in their notice. You're like, what? And so it feels a little like my heart hurts because it's completely out of the blue. It's unexpected. And I just see you like a deer in headlights, like baffled, dumbfounded. How did this happen? So I'm sorry. Here's the good news. The good news is you're not the only one, the only sign. You're not being picked on. It's kind of a universal thing this month with this particular energy. Everybody's getting kind of hammered a little bit this first week in January. The good news is that it's brief. In other words, it's just for a couple of days. It's not like an eclipse that would really amplify it and would really be bad, not like last year. So you can handle this. It's a small thing. And by next week, you're like, next, I'm done, next. So whatever energy that it sort of takes out of you, you recover quickly and very fast this first week. So by January 10th, you're on to the solution, and you just make it happen, and it's like it never ever occurred. So whatever this thing is, it's not life and death, okay? So that's the good news. But it is alarming, and it is surprising, and I see you going, I knew that, I knew that, I knew that. Why didn't I listen? You know, so I see you angry with yourself. The good news is you forgive yourself very quickly too. Now, let's look at overall. There's a new moon January 20th, so let's check into that new moon energy for you. Like night and day. This new moon energy is like all the things you worried about, that January 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th that maybe transpired during that time, all put to bed, all done. Like it's almost like it's a completely different month. The energy is completely different. It's new, exciting, it's lighthearted, it's carefree. I feel excited. I feel like there's a lot of possibility. So it's all really, really good stuff, the things that come in around that January 20th date. Anything from getting good reports on your financial statements, like, wow, you did a lot better than you thought you did last year, or even bad news is better news. So in other words, even what you thought, like if you had a failing business or you had losses, even the losses aren't as great as you thought it was. Like, oh, it's not so bad. Or if you have to pay taxes, it's like, oh, it's not so bad. There's some good news among the bad news for the new moon. Because I know, Taurus, you're very pragmatic and focused, and so you very much like black and white. You like to see the numbers, you like to see the details, and so you'll even be happy with even the negative things that show up around that new moon. They're not going to be as bad as you thought. Now, as far as relationship goes, for those of you that are in a love relationship for the month of January, what can you expect? Well, I see a little irritation with your loved one starting out, like this little bit of like slapping each other, not literally, of course, but just, irritation, not on the same page. This frustration where neither one of you makes sense to the other person. So there's just this real strong irritation with a personal relationship. Neither one of you makes sense to the other person. It's like you're both speaking a foreign language. Very frustrating. By the 10th, for some of you, that individual will be gone. In that case, it could be somebody that you loved that was a coworker, and they're gone. Some of you, it could be an affair, and the affair is over, and it's really over. Maybe they said they were leaving their wife or they're leaving their husband, and they don't. And the truth is they're happier than ever, and you finally see that. So it could be something painful like that. It could be for some of you that are in a committed relationship that it's just this difference of opinion that by the 10th, you figure it out. Like there's new information that comes in that just kind of patches things up and you move forward, and it's really not a problem. But there's a lot of new information that has to do in the personal relationship. The rest of the month, for those of you that remain in love and really connected, goes really smoothly. Again, like happy times. I really feel like there may be an opportunity for you to go someplace really fun and exhilarating. It could be anything from snow skiing to laying on a beach the weekend around January 17th, 18th. That time is really nice, really lovely. And then for those of you that are single, what can you expect for this month of January? You know, here's the lovely thing about being single during this full moon. You just duck. I just see you duck. I just see you go under all that, you know, all that hostility that's there. You just go right underneath it and you keep on moving. So you're just, any of the personal stuff doesn't really affect you too much in terms of who you may be dating. It feels more like it's going to come from you at a workplace or a family member that could be on the edge that you need help. You need to help, or that have come to you and have their life in shambles and you have to rescue. You know, it's that sort of intensity that you had no idea that, you know, your brother-in-law is a drug addict, or your son has you know, God forbid, you know, a gambling problem. Like these things that come to light. But the good news is you can swoop in, you can rescue, you can help, you can support, and get them back on track next week. Now, the other news is personal relationships. We were talking about romantic for you. So if you wanted a romantic relationship, Taurus, could there be one for the month of January? Yeah, it feels like around the 17th. There's something lucky comes in. It could even be overseas. It could be somebody who is overseas. It could also be connected to someone in or the month of February. If it doesn't happen right now, it could happen around St. Patrick's Day is what's coming up. So if not now, between now and St. Patrick's Day, there could be somebody that shows up for you, Taurus, if you're interested. So if you don't have anybody right now or you're not sure about them, throw them back. Let them go, and you'll see what shows up later. Will be a little more powerful. Now, Mercury goes retrograde January 21st to February 11th. So, you know, that's the planet of communication, and it affects all of our computers and all of our electronics. It affects our communication. So for you, Taurus, it's going to require you to double and triple check things. And I just see you, you know, you're like the big ship that just splits the sea. So you just stay the course and you'll be fine. And just don't make things mean too much for you. I really feel like the small things that may go wrong don't affect you that much. It's like, okay, whatever, let's deal with it. But I don't see you getting really too riled up about it. Now, there may be a few things at work that are a little more frustrating that have to do that where there may be breakdowns at work. You know, if you work in machinery or around machinery or things like that go break down, and then you lose hours. It's a little frustrating because it affects your pay, some things like that. Or if you're a dental hygienist, those machines not working, they're just frustrating, and you know, or X-ray techniques, you know, techs, these things. I feel like there could be around in a hospital environment where some of the things aren't working well. Nothing life and death, thank goodness, but just the things that make your life go a little smoother. So you may have a little challenge at work. Again, it's temporary, not a big deal. Let's look at your health, Taurus. Some of you are rebounding from a health scare. So some of you may have a health scare in the last month or two. It could have been anything from, you know, heart palpitations to falling to, you know, getting a head injury, you know, car accident, anything like that. The good news is I feel like not as bad as you thought. You healed fast, and you're going to heal faster. So for those of you that are still laid up, I really see like miraculous energy coming in for you at the end of January to really boost your energy, boost your immune system, get you back on track. And the cure is available. So whatever it is that you need to cure you, that information is going to be coming in towards the end of January. So really do a lot of research and due diligence. If you've got something severe going on, you can get the answers that you need in the latter part of January to help you. Now, all in all, for the year for 2015, Taurus, it's nice. You can write your own ticket. You know, you can go where you want to go, do what you want to do. There's momentum that you have. There's a lot of reserves. You've got a lot in store for you. You also have a lot of positive energy. The biggest thing that you have to do this year is create some patience and an ability to kind of ask what you want and move through the old, like really let go of the old, let go of the things that haven't worked, let go of that stubbornness, the part of you that remembers so-and-so and what they did, or remembers XYZ. Like, have a short memory when it comes to those things. It's not going to do you wrong. I know that sounds a little bit counterintuitive, or that sounds stupid, you know, to forget about the bad things. Because you want to use that information to protect yourself in the future. But like energy perpetuates like energy. So when you keep having that fear-based energy, it's just going to attract another bad situation to you. So let go of those fear-based energies and be willing to be wrong. Be willing to attract positive things. And when you do that, I feel like you rise above all those craziness or the shenanigans that happened in the last 2014, or maybe that first week in January, so that you can really rise above and really attract the life that you want, whether that's a new soulmate, whether it's better career or lifestyle change. This year feels like a key year where you guys shift into a next gear, a higher gear. So really fabulous year for you guys ahead. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel and for liking me on Facebook and sharing with your friends. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to sharing with you again in 2015. Remember, if you need me personally, just go to my website, peggyrometo.com, and I do privates and anything else that I do energy work and do speaking and some other things. So if you need something, just check it out, and I'm sure you'll get the answer there. And if not, give me a call. All right, Taurus. Happy New Year. Happy 2015. I look forward to connecting with you again next month. Happy New Year, Gemini. So if you're a Gemini born May 21st to June 20th, what can you expect for the month of January 2015? Let's tune in and find out. Well, Gemini, I'm sorry. You really are your own worst enemy. I see you like arguing with yourself. It's funny because I've been going into everybody's energy, and everybody's energy is different this first part of January, and a lot of people, their aggression is pointed outward. Yours is like at your opposite twin, at the other side of you. So there's something that's going on for you that you're really at odds with yourself about, and you're going to have to confront that this first week. There's a full moon in Cancer, January 4th, and that full moon is a real contentious energy. And so there's a lot of just this aggressive energy. And for you, Gemini, it feels like it's just this inner battle. Why'd I do that? Why'd I do this? Why'd you do this? And just conflict and back and forth. And I have a real ache in the back of my throat. So for some of you, there's decisions that need to be made. There's conversations that need to be had that you've been avoiding or afraid to have. It all has to do with fear. It has to do with fear of loss, fear of not getting done what you want to get done. So you really want to, or make happen what you want to make happen. So you really need to just kind of relax and take your time through this full moon here. So let me just see what else there is about it. You know, you don't want to push yourself too hard, Gemini, during this time. Do your best to unplug. Do your best to observe the situation, and don't jump to conclusions. So whatever comes up for you this first week, don't jump to conclusions. Some of you may have hearsay. In other words, you may hear something about somebody else that's alarming to you, and you may want to think the worst because that's kind of what's told to you, and just don't jump to conclusion. It feels like there's a likelihood to be a lot of truth to what it is that you hear, and then that causes the anger towards you. This may be about a relationship or about somebody who's being unfaithful to you, or who's not being up and up with you, or on the honest, totally honest with you. So I do feel like it is a situation where we're only getting, half the picture, and the other half is gonna show up, and you're gonna get the information about it, and then you'll know what to do. The good news is that by the following week, by January 10th, all that, the illusion is shattered. You clearly see what you have, and you're able to move forward, and it's for the best. And it's really going to empower you to be able to do things differently or operate from a different place. So all in all, it's a positive thing. Now we have a new moon, January 20th, and that new moon for you is very stimulating. And I really feel like this core power coming up through you, like this really like being in your power, standing in your power, feeling powerful in who you are and where you're going. There's a real stabilizing energy for you with that new moon. So whatever it is you're focused on, whether you decide to go to school, whether you decide to start a new business, whether you decide to move, whether you decide to get married, have a child, like there's this real feeling of being empowered and a lot of certainty. I have to say, a lot of certainty with what you're going to be experiencing around that new moon on the 20th. And it feels really good. It feels really powerful. Then right away we move into Mercury retrograde, goes from January 21st to February 11th. And of course, it's a plan of our communication, where all of a sudden our communication can kind of go all awry. Our computers and our electronics can get a little screwed up. So we have to just kind of take things with a grain of salt, not let ourselves be bothered by them. And during that time, that's when we regroup, we rethink, we reboot, we restore, we redo, right? So you sit back and you reconfigure your life or whatever the situation is calling for. It's a great time to do editing. It's a great time to write. It's a great time just to think and to soul search and to heal. So if you need healing from that relationship that didn't work out, if you need healing from the surprise that came, you'll have the opportunity to set aside to go ahead and do that too. So all in all, it's a really good energy of restorative energy for you. Now, of course, Gemini, they always say don't sign contracts, don't make any big changes during that time. But, sometimes life happens, and if you do absolutely have to do something, just make sure that you double and triple check it. Okay? And then let's look at your relationships. For those of you that are in a love relationship, what does that look like for the month of January? Well, my head is spinning a little bit in early January. It could either mean that you and if you're in a committed relationship, you're just busy, crazy busy, running around. Things settle down and get real soulful and meaningful more towards the middle of the month. And I really feel some nice, quiet times together. It feels positive to me. I'm not really feeling a lot of discord this month. It feels all in all like it's an easier month in terms of the relationship. Now, if you're single, Gemini, and you want to create a long-lasting relationship, how does that look? Well, for some of you, you just have you have way too much happening. You have way too many irons in the fire with way too many people, and so I'm feeling this little bit of conflict. For some of you, for the rest of you, I feel like you're just enjoying it. That's the way it should be. And then there are others that are just feeling kind of like uneasy or disconnected from their real feelings and don't know what they feel. And I feel like if you're in that place where you don't know what you feel, you're going to get some real answers here in the next couple of weeks. Like it's just going to be shown to you. And some of the people that were potential suitors, potential lovers are going to go to the wayside too. You're going to see that they're not who they say they are, and they're not doing what they say they were doing, and they're just going to kind of be removed from your life. Nothing to be upset about, because they weren't really the one anyway. They were just taking up space and keeping you from the right person. So now, if you do want a love relationship, when can we expect to see that happening? Well, first of all, it feels like you've got to be on the same page with yourself, that that's what you want. And if you do, it doesn't feel immediate. It feels more like latter part of March, early part of April. If you wanted to make steps towards that, I see by the end of January, by January 20th, 21st, if you had somebody in mind, you could start to court them or start to cultivate it, and that by 3 months later, it might manifest into something really long-term and really powerful. So there may be somebody that you meet or rekindle a relationship with towards the end of January that's very special and unique, and that it's a different opportunity this time. It's not the same as it was last time if there's somebody that's revisiting, because that Mercury retrograde, that a lot of times they bring people back into our life. So from that January 21st to February 11th, you may see an old flame, and that may then light the fire for this next year, for the rest of your life too, for some of you. So there is that potential too if you've already known them. Okay, so all in all, it's really good for relationships. Now, as far as money goes for Geminis, let's see. It feels like it's kind of been, I feel like it's steady. I feel like it's going to be steady this month. I feel like there's a positive influx of money. It feels like steady. It feels very mechanical to me, like just regimented, you know, and status quo. There may be a little snarling that happens with your financial flow, with your money. During that retrograde period, there could be some things that get held up, especially if it has to do with mortgages or estates or loan proceeds. They feel like they could get some delays with it, which is never fun. They don't feel like forever, but it is, you know, it is very possible, and it is frustrating. So do see some delays around your money if you are wanting something, or if you're expecting something to come in during that latter part of January, early part of February. There's also a good opportunity, though, for you to buy and or sell something. It might be an idea, it might be yourself, in terms of, you know, selling your an idea or pitching yourself to be a consultant, or pitching yourself to be the one go-to person, whether it's a corporation or an individual. I definitely feel like this could be an added plus for your career, added bonus for your career this year. So you may want to look and see where you could make some more money. I do see that that's a positive thing for you towards the end of the month, where people would be open to that and are buying what you're selling. So pay attention to that, Gemini. If you have some sort of career or dream consulting job or something like that, so you always thought, wow, I'm really good at that. Why don't I let people know and let them hire me, and I'll do it for them. So pay attention to those opportunities. Okay, now let's look at your health. So Gemini's health. Some of you may have some skin issues, whether it's eczema, whether it's warts, whether it's ingrown hair, discoloration, pigmentation. It just feels like there's going to be some remedies for these in the next 30 days, and they're going to be leaving the scene. You're gonna hear about something new, and that's going to be leaving the scene. So you won't have to deal with that anymore. And even if some of these, sorry, it's coming up, sexually transmitted diseases, it also feels like there is some new information that may be brought to light that could help you as well in kind of like, you know, removing this curse, you know, or whatever the point of view that you have is definitely can be changed so that it's not a detriment. So it just becomes like something that you have to deal with, but not in a heavy way. And so it feels like there's more information for you, so you can kind of get things under control and feel less at the effect of this, and feel more empowered and less intimidated by it, or less embarrassed or ashamed. So there's definitely some emotional healing for you, as well as basic information that's going to help you deal with it, and either correct it fully or learn to live with it if that's the case. But it does feel like there's something there to be released, and more information to be received in, again, the latter part of January, early part of February. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else for you guys. Well, overall, for 2015, it feels like, you know, you've got to help yourself. It reminds me of somebody that is, you know, what is it, where you're skiing, okay? And, you know, you have to help yourself along. And so if you help yourself along, it feels like what's going to happen, you're going to get to this edge, and when we get to March, it's going to come downhill. So you're going to be downhill. So you're at the top of the mountain, you know, and now you've got to get over to get to where you can go down. So this next kind of like 6 to 8 weeks is helping yourself, moving yourself along so that you can just glide downhill. So the rest of the year is going to be much more favorable for you. You're going to feel greater sense of relief. You're going to feel like you're on track. So just keep up the hard work. You're going to have more clarity here in this next week or 10 days. Some of it, it's going to shatter some of your illusions, but that's okay, because it's information, and you'll really know, you know, you'll have a clear sense of direction and what to do. So all in all, Gemini, really fabulous year coming up. 2015 is going to be good for you. It's going to be downhill after March. So just get yourself to wherever you need to be between now and then. Thank you so much for viewing my YouTube channel for 2014, and for sharing it with your friends and liking my Facebook page. I appreciate it, and I look forward to supporting you in 2015. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Cancer. If you're born June 21st to July 22nd and you're a Cancer, what would you like? What can you expect for the month of January 2015? Let's tune in and find out. Okay, so for Cancers, for some of you, this first week, there is a full moon that's going to happen in Cancer, in your sign, January 4th. And full moons, it's a culmination of events, and they're usually really intense, and this one happens to be pretty intense. And because it's in your sign Cancer, which Cancers tend to be very emotional, you're going to have some heightened emotion around this. And it's one of these, for you guys, it feels very personal. It feels like it could be betrayed by a close friend. It could be even something, around personal relationships, like such as your best friend, going out with your ex-boyfriend. Or it could even be worse, where you find out, your boyfriend's cheating on you. It feels numbing. Like whatever's going to happen, it feels numbing. The other thing is it feels also very temporary. So whatever you find out, whatever you discover about this personal relationship, yeah, it's painful, but the truth comes out, and that's the good news. You get to see it. And I do feel like there's a little bit of a numbness with this. It's even hard to believe. There's a bit of a shock with whatever it is that you hear and or discover. Now, it does also feel pretty personal. So the advice for you this week, Cancer, around this full moon, is whatever you hear, don't just assume it to be true, but you want to be able to deal with it. You want to be able to look at it pragmatically. You want to be able to step back, and you want to ask yourself some different questions. What does this mean to me? What does this mean? And how is it going to affect me? And what am I going to do about it? And if you take 4 or 5 days, because it feels like it's a couple of days that you're going to be in this energy, on the other side of it, there is relief. There is balm. I'm sorry. They're even showing me it's kind of like if all of a sudden you find out your lover's cheating on you, all of a sudden the following week you find out about somebody who's had this amazing crush on you forever, and they're 10 times better than the guy who just cheated on you. So it's like that kind of energy. So there's a huge redemption piece here. So whatever it is that feels like you're crushed, just know that next week there's an equally good energy coming in that's going to be positive for you. Now, some of you, it won't be like that for some of you. Some of you, it's going to be completely different. It'll be, the energy will be more family related. It might be, with your child or with your spouse, and it could be something as like they lost their job and they're afraid to tell you, or it could be that, they wrecked their car, they're fine, but, now you've got these debts to pay. It's kind of like a shock. It's one of those shock and awe moments, and then you're left to deal with the aftermath. So it's kind of like that. It does not feel to me life or death, okay? So exhale, breathe. It doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel life or death to me. It just feels painful. It feels like, wow, it feels intense. It's like that. And there's shock with it. So whatever it is, it's not predictable, and you're going to get through it, and you have the resources to do so. And the following week, it's like, next, not a big deal. So it's not that big a deal. Can't be that bad if we can get over it in a week, right? Exactly. So whatever it is very short-lived. It could even be a job that you went on an interview for and you were hired, and then 2 days later they call you back and say, sorry, we changed our mind. I mean, it could be those sorts of things as well, okay? So, all right, so let's look now at, there's a new moon, January 20th. So new moon for Cancer, so let's see about that. That is like a storybook energy for you guys. It's nice. There may be a phone call. There may be some other opportunities. It could be your name is on other people's lips. So if there was something that you did a month or two before, let's say you're a clothing designer, or whatever your service is, it feels like somebody heard about you and somebody higher up wants you now. And it could be for an interview, it could be for services, but it feels like word of mouth based on your good name, based on the good work that you've previously done. other people hear about you. So if this was a negative work thing that happened for you in early January, just know there's redemption right down the road. Like 2 weeks later on that new moon, January 20th, somebody else doesn't even care about that and picks you up and scoops you up and goes, I want her. I don't care if you don't want her, but I want her. I want him. Even if you don't, I'll take him. So just know that there's redemption at the end of the month, what comes in around that January 20th. Now, Mercury retrograde, January 21st to February 11th. Of course, that's the planet in communication and where all of our little electronics like to go, crazy and bleep out on us and our cell phones and that sort of thing. It's a little maddening. But it also gives us time to regroup and repurpose and redirect and rethink. So it's a great opportunity, Cancer, for you also to review your life, review the situations that you don't like so that you don't have to repeat them and change your behaviors. It's a great time to heal. It's a great time to let go and revisit the focus that you want to have for 2015. Because I feel like Cancer, the only thing that's lacking for you guys is focus. What do I want? And once you kind of put your eyes and your focus on where you want to go, 2015 can just like really light up for you. So I really want you to spend time refocusing on what it is you want to have happen. There's a big completion that's happening for a lot of people this year. So you may see yourself ending or completing something in the early part of January, and that's going to free you up to focus for the rest of 2015, which is it's a really good thing. So let's look independently at some things. Let's look at your career and money for this month of January. Well, it feels like there's some momentum. It feels like there's a surge of momentum that's happening. Financially, it feels like you're going to be making some more money than you have been in the past. It feels like there have been some bleak things, intermittent, not doing so well. You may have had a good year a couple of years ago, and it feels like you're on track again to have another good year. So definitely whatever you were getting last year, this year feels more powerful. It feels like there's more money, more opportunity for you. But you do have to get out of your own way. You have to get out of the doubt. You have to get out of like, sure, whatever. And you have to do the things necessary to generate that, which means go look for a job, talk to people, tell them you're interested, tell them you're available. You have to go the extra mile. And then the rewards will be there for you in January and in 2015. So overall, I feel like there's an expansion for your career this year. Now, as far as your relationships go, Cancer, if you're in love, for the month of January, what can you expect? Well, I really see for some of you, your partner carrying you, your partner lifting you up and carrying you and really taking care of you, really nurturing you. So that's a really nice thing. For some of you, you will have your partners will step in and to help you and support you. Now, if you're not in a long-term relationship, what could you expect? If you're single, well, there's an equally rallying around you of family and or friends to support you if and when you need it this month. And if you desire to have a long-term relationship, I'm feeling it more like you guys are up to clearing your own energy field, getting rid of your own stuff, and then being able to see what's there. And so I feel like there's some nice energy that comes in around January 25th that's nice. It's introductory, it's new, there's a curiosity. I'm not making any promises, but maybe I'll go out with you. So it's an interesting kind of energy of teasing and flirting that's happening, very flirtatious that last week in January. So you may meet somebody new, and it feels a little bit like it totally unplanned, random, like at the grocery store or as you're parking your car, or it feels really kind of unique and interesting and very sweet. So very possible. I mean, I could even, just I'm seeing somebody park their car and get out, and somebody just, talking to you and just, making a connection. So very simple, Cancer, easy way to make a connection if you want it. Now, as far as your health goes, I feel like some of you have just been exhausted, just tired, sleeping late, not getting enough sleep, drained, may have gained a little weight, feeling a little bit like adrenal fatigue, a little foggy-minded. I do think that if that's you, you're going to get some new information that's going to help you get back on track. And there's also going to be a new focus. Some of you, I can't breathe in your energy, so you might be having heart problems, heart issues, or or could it be emotional issues, insecurity, self-doubt? Well, we know, of course, that Cancers, you guys are overall, as a sign, very anxious, tend to hold it inside, tend to hold your emotions in, and tend to be very afraid. Cancers tend to be. Now, overall, and depending on your other, you know, where your sun sign is and your moon sign, you know, certainly can be different. But overall, have kind of some big fears or constant fears, or fear can be a problem in your life. So this year in 2015, it looks like there may be the right programs, teachers, therapists, counselors around you to help you face some of those fears and really kind of like, you know, look the monster in the eye and be done with it. So it feels like a really empowering year for you guys, where you really face your fears. And you know, it's like, reminds me of somebody who wants to be an actor, and they're afraid to go to acting class because they don't want to be told they're bad. Right? And it's kind of like you get out of your own way and you go to that class and you go for the part, and it's like you learn information about yourself. You look down that fear. So that's what I see this year is about. It's like looking down fear for you guys, and you succeeding. Most importantly, you succeeding and doing a really good job. So Cancers, you're going to have an amazing year, and I look forward to watching it unfold with you. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel in 2014, and for those of you that commented and liked my Facebook, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I hope you continue to share my YouTube channel and my website with people, and I look forward to supporting you in 2015. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Leo. If you're a Leo born July 23rd to August 22nd, what can you expect for the month of January 2015? Let's tune in and find out. Well, Leo, right away I see you entering January. There is a full moon in Cancer January 4th, and I feel like your shoulders are square and you're ready to do battle. So somebody has wronged you. Somebody has, it feels a little bit intentional, has crushed you. And also feel like alarmed, like, what? And so this could be a roommate situation where a roommate, you know, threw you under the bus. This could be a coworker situation where a coworker threw you under the bus, and you could have even lost your job over this. I mean, this feels like intense. It feels really palatable. It feels like you could have been up for a job, and then all of a sudden the company decided to put a hiring freeze on. It feels like you could have had, you know, it just feels disheartening. It feels frustrating, and it feels like it's out of your hands. Like it's like spilt milk. What's done is done. That's the bad news. The good news is it's very temporary energy. This is something that might last, you know, 4 or 5 days. Some of you move through things faster. It might only happen 24 hours, and you're like, fine, I'm done. But the good news is the following week, by the 9th, the 10th, there's new energy pouring in, and there's a whole new set of rules to play by, live by, explore, have fun, share. There's new information, and all of a sudden, the world looks like a beautiful place again. So this is quickly forgotten, whatever it is. So keep that in mind this week when you're feeling backstabbed, betrayed, jealous, angry, resentful, whatever the emotions are, because it's in Cancer, they're going to be heightened. Just remember, this is temporary. Breathe, let go of the disappointment, the heartbreak, the sadness, whatever it is temporary, and there's something new that's going to come in. If it was a job, there's a better job. If it's a demotion, there's more time, like more time with your family. There's a trade-off that's going to happen, and initially you're not going to see the good in it, but by the following week you'll have figured out the good in it, and it's going to be fine. Okay. Now, there's a new moon January 20th. Now, that feels completely different. I feel like the universe has supported me and just lifted me up and put me in this beautiful vantage point where I can be seen and everybody can see me, and I can pick and choose where I want to go. So it's really, really positive energy. It's really powerful for you, Leo. Like people want you, and I see they're kind of like voting to get you. So if you're on a job hunt looking for a job, you may have 2 or 3 people at the same time that want to hire you. If you're at a job and you have an opportunity for advancement, you may get to pick. There may be 2 or 3 departments that say yes to you, and you get to decide which department you want to go to. This feels very much around career, and it feels really like the ball is in your hands and you get what you want. So really exciting stuff around January 20th. God, I've got goosebumps from head to toe. It's really good. Now, Mercury goes retrograde January 21st to February 11th, and that's the planet of communication. So that's when our wires get crossed and people, said, I didn't say that, you said that. No, it's like all that miscommunication happens. And then it's also electronic, so it screws up with our computers and our cell phones and our cars and our refrigerators and all that sort of stuff. So it's a time when we generally don't spend a lot of money on big money on things like that, but it's a great time to sell those things. For people who don't know about the Mercury retrograde, it's a great time to rid yourself and clear yourself out of all those things that you don't want to have. And you want to, you want to make sure they're working. Surely you don't want to do something bad to somebody, but you want to. It's a great time to sell cars. It's a great time to sell houses. It's a great time to sell all those things that you don't want. So you may want to look at that. It's also a good time for Leos to be able to revamp and to take account of what you want to do and where you want to focus. And it's a slower time. Generally, it's a slower time. It's a good time for writing and creative projects. So it's all in all, it's a good time period for that. Now, as far as money goes for Leo, nice. I'm just seeing you flooded with money, like flooded with money. Not initially, but by mid-January, it feels like plenty of money coming in and continuing to come in. So being flushed with money. And for some of you, it might even be money for school loans, money for college, money for transportation costs, money for housing. It could be that you've sold a property and are going to buy a bigger property. It just feels like a big influx of cash. Some of you could have won a lawsuit. So positive things as far as money goes. As far as career goes, again, I already said I felt like you guys are going to have a good career and there's going to be a lot more money for you. Now let's look at relationships. So for those of you that are in a loving relationship, a committed relationship in Leo, for the month of January, what can you expect? I see attention on you. I see eyes on you. I see people curious about you. And if you're in a committed relationship, I feel like they're right there for you and they want to help you and they want to support you. And so all in all, it feels really good. There may be a little bit of, I want to say a little bit of a health scare, but it feels very, very, very small. So in other words, like all of a sudden I've got a pain in my like my spleen or my digestive tract. So maybe your loved one, all of a sudden they get this upset stomach and it turns out to be some digestive thing or like diverticulitis. I can't even say the word. I said it anyway. It's like it's like where your digestive tract, all of a sudden there's a little bulge in it, and so then you just can't eat certain things for a while it heals, like nuts and seeds and things like that kind of irritate it. So you have to wait until that small or large intestine gets healed a little bit. Like it feels like something like that could be with the digestion. So it feels like there may be something like that small between you and or your partner that causes you to want to come in and rush in and be tender with them. That was not what I was expecting. So anyway, for the rest of you, it feels like there's just this compatible energy of support and love, and it really blossoms around the 25th or 26th, 27th. It feels like there's a real wholeness to you, to the opportunity, to the love situation. And for some of you earlier in the month as well, like around that 10th or 11th, there might be an opportunity, 12th of January, to get away and to have some real nice experience together. Now, if you're single and you're a Leo and you're looking for love, what can you expect? Well, some of you may have recently gone through a breakup, but like as soon as that one's over, there's a new one there. Now, for some of you that are kind of like talking to more than one person, it feels like there's an awakening around that. I don't feel any pressure. That's nice. I don't feel any pressure to do something. It just feels like it opens up. And by the end of the month, it feels like it opens up even more. And because Mercury is retrograde January 21st to February 11th, you may even have an old lover or somebody that you're talking to. You may get reunited with them again during that time. And kind of like figuring out what's next. There may even be, for some of you, like a complete reversal where you're already done with them and the next person shows up. But keep in mind, anybody that new that you meet during a retrograde, so anybody new that you've never laid eyes on before, never talked to before, January 21st to February 11th, is not likely to be a long-term candidate. They're likely to be an of-the-moment relationship because it's so temporary and there's so many things that happen that we're blinded to, that we're not seeing, that by that February 15th, all of a sudden you're seeing this whole other side to this individual that you didn't even know was possible. So keep that in mind, Leos. But if you want a healthy relationship, this could be the year when you actually meet Mr. or Mrs. Right, or that you actually decide to invest time in a relationship again. This next 12-month cycle is very probable that you'll have, by the end of next year, your partner, the person that you want to spend your life with. It feels like for a lot of you that's coming in. And then also for a lot of you with that relationship, there may be births, there may be children. There's a lot of birthing going on in the Leo energy this year, I see, for the whole year. So a lot of first and a lot of birthing a career, birthing children, birthing a marriage, like a long-term relationship, like a lot of good things, a lot of births that you guys can expect to happen for 2/15. Nice. Okay, and let's look at your health. Nice. Actually, Leo, I feel like you're going to get stronger as this year goes on. I feel like some of you have had some upper respiratory problems. You know, again, I'm feeling like it's hard to breathe in your energy. I feel like those are clearing. Sinus issues, feel like they're clearing. So you're going to get information that's going to support you on what's going on with your body, what to avoid, some of them may be allergies, and you'll be able to find that about that this year. So a lot of information that's going to actually improve your health. So all in all, Leo, it's a fabulous outlook for you. Good luck in 2/15. It feels like a fabulous year, and I want to thank you for viewing and watching me in 2014, and I look forward to connecting with you again next year. Happy New Year, Virgo. So if you're a Virgo born August 23rd to September 22nd, what can you expect for the month of January 2015? Let's tune in and find out. Well, right away, Virgo, I feel like there's like big energy, like big surprise, very excited, and it feels about like something positive. And then it feels like there's just a little bit of an edge. That's a little bit of edge of disappointment that happens. There's a full moon in Cancer, January 4th, and that full moon's a little crusty or crockety. It's kind of a little bit of an irritant, and I feel like for you, it kind of takes a little bit of wind out of your sails. So there's just a little bit of a disappointment, and it's not a big thing, but it's a little irritating thing. So it could be that maybe that you were planning something and it got canceled, or I mean, it feels like it's just more of a disappointment. Maybe you were scheduled to go someplace, or it could be a speaking venue that got canceled, or an event that you were having and you don't have as many people as you need, so you have to cancel it. It just feels like a small disappointment. Maybe it's a class that you wanted to take and it's full already, and so you can't join it. Something like that. It just feels a slight disappointment to me. It doesn't feel like it's a big deal. Some of the other signs, it's like a really big deal. So I'm happy to see that at least one sign is not going to feel gorged and from this little event here in Cancer. So the good news is that the following week, the energy actually gets lighter, Virgo, and actually kind of opens new doors for you. I see new opportunities coming in, and so whatever this little disappointment was that happens the first week of January, it's like null and void by the following week, and you set your sights on a new goal, and it's next. So very matter of fact, not a big deal at all for you guys, which is nice, because that full moon in Cancer, the Cancer energy is one that's heightened emotions, and for you guys, it feels like it's just kind of not a big deal. It's a disappointment for sure, but it negates itself by the following week. So all in all, it's good. Now let's look at your money for the month of January. So if you're a Virgo, what can you expect from money? It does feel like there's something from the past that you may have forgotten about, that somebody owes you money from. I know, how do you forget that? But it is, and it could even be like a refund from, maybe you moved one place to another and the power company finally sends you, a check in the mail. It feels like it's like that. It could be some found money, surprise money showing up for you from something that you even didn't know about, or a bank account that you had closed and they tracked you down. But it's like that. It feels like found money coming your way. So that's really a nice thing. And then it just feels like there is some momentum. Work that you've been focused on, career. There's some momentum building with it. More money coming in, more money coming in, more money coming in. So I like that a lot. So there's additional momentum for you. So that's a positive, happy thing. And it goes, you know, your sleeves are rolled up, so it goes with your work, and there's powerful with it. But it does feel consistent to me. Yeah, so all in all, it's good. Now, as far as your relationships go, for those of you that are committed in a personal relationship, a romantic relationship, let's look at that for the month of January for Virgos. It feels like initially there's a little feeling a little bit at odds or confusion around a subject that the two of you may be talking about, and a little bit of miscommunication that's kind of mishitting this first week or so in January. But I do feel like it's temporary, and I feel like it sort of gets sorted out. It may be that you want to go on a vacation and your spouse doesn't, or you both want to go but you can't decide on where you want to go, so you're at odds that way. It feels like that. It feels like, you know, not coming to to terms with being on the same page at the same time, and neither one of you can change each other's mind about what to do. I feel like it's going to kind of shift by the middle of the month. Now, we have a new moon, January 20th. Now, by then, it feels like there's this new energy opens up, and there's a whole third dynamic that comes in, and both of you change your positions, and you both make this new decision on January 20th. So it really feels like there's new information that comes in that causes both of you to change your minds. So whatever this challenge was that the two of you had, new information, you both get on board with that new information. So sometime from January 15th to January 25th, that new information comes in, and it's really helpful and supportive for you. Now, Mercury does go retrograde January 21st to February 11th. And for those of you that are not in a relationship, that are single, a lot of times old flames can come back in there. People that we knew from the past can come back in. Old lovers, old friends, you may be reunited with. Now, if you're wanting a new relationship, Virgo, and you want a new love relationship, you could see something happen during that time with somebody new. Not somebody new, but from your past, revisited, okay? As far as a brand new relationship, showing me potentially around the 15th of January, there could be something new. Now, there is this situation feels like it's somebody who shows up, they go away, and then they come back again in March. So you could meet them, and it could just be in crossing. It could be like at work, and you met somebody new, and they just happen to be there, and then you don't see them again until like March. Or it could be you meet somebody at a club, whatever. It feels like you meet them once, and then they're just gone. But it comes back again in March, and kind of like full bloom, mid-March to late March. Okay, so whoever you meet that's sort of very interesting and exciting, and that 15th to the 20th to the 21st during that week, just know that you may not see them again for about 2 more months. But when they come back around, it'll be like to really develop and see what's there. So kind of a fun, interesting thing. All in all, I feel like it's a good relationship situation for you guys, for Virgo. I feel like if you want it, you can have it this year in 2015. It's just a matter of letting go and being out there and being seen and allowing yourself to go have the fun. Now, as far as your health goes, I think some of you have had some emotional wounds this last year. It may be that you have recovered emotionally from something that was really hard that you had to go through, whether it was a bankruptcy, a financial loss, or whether it was a loss of a loved one or a loss of career. It takes a lot out of you, and I feel like you guys are rallying from this last 2-3 year period where a lot of people have been pummeled. And so Virgos, I feel like you're coming out of that, and this year going to be stronger than ever, more powerful, healthier than ever. I feel like your health is getting back on track. I have a little bit of pain in my ears, so some of you may be dealing with some sort of head cold right now, or the equilibrium issue. But the good news is you're also gonna get worked out. So whatever is the problem is, it feels like there's new information and support that's gonna help you with your health this year. So all in all, I feel like, especially in January, you're getting better and stronger, and you're going to see that trend continue. There's also new information for you about what works for your body. So I see you more committed and really going, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to make it happen. So I see you creating structure in your life for 2015 for your health. So that's a positive thing. Now, I was saying that the Mercury retrograde that's happening the January 21st to the February 11th, that is also another time for you to re-examine your health and kind of look and see, what do I want to make changes? What do I want to do? How do I want to be seen in the world? Some of you may want to cut your hair. You may want to dye your hair. You may want to change your wardrobe. In January, there may be this inspiration to revamp and redesign and recreate who you are. So you may be inspired to do that during that retrograde period. And the only thing I would caution you about is if you alter something that can't be changed, you know, like cutting your hair, I would make those decisions. I would do that outside of the retrograde. Otherwise, whoever you're telling to cut your hair, maybe miscued, and you may say you want it, 3 inches, and they take off 8. I mean, God forbid. But it's like one of those things. But all in all, Virgos, it feels like it's a really good month of January for you. I really like it a lot. I think all in all, you're gonna, this year, in 2015, you're really gonna get your stride back. Like I said, I feel like some of you have a lot that's taken out of you, and you're gonna start to see that your stride is coming back, and you're gonna be more focused, and you're also gonna be willing to put yourself back out there with your heart. So I do feel all in all, it's a really good month for you guys, and a really good year. So thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel in 2014, for sharing it and liking it with your friends, liking my Facebook page, and look forward to supporting you in 2015. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Libra. If you're a Libra, born September 23rd to October 22nd, what can you expect for the month of January 2015? Let's tune in and find out. Okay, so January, right away, I feel like this first week of January, the full moon in Cancer, January 4th, there is a feeling sense of being personally attacked. I feel like somebody comes in and just takes a swipe out of you. It may come from a family member. It may come from a close friend who's unhappy with you, or who sees you as superficial or not there for them, or hasn't experienced you in the way they've experienced you in the past. So it's a bit of like a what? Like a little bit of like, I see like you kind of shaking your head and going, is that true? And so just be aware that if somebody's personally attacking you and it's their feelings, right? There is truth to it, because when it's somebody's experience, then it's our job to take it in and just see, okay, maybe we didn't experience that and we didn't know that that's how we were coming off to them. But if that's how they're experiencing it, then it's our job to apologize, or our job to correct it. Now, if we feel unjustly wronged by it, then that's a different situation. Then it's just about, just taking it in and go, okay, that's their experience. That's not my experience. So however you want to handle it, but you want to keep the fireworks to a minimum. So the best way to do that is to unplug, step back, not be intimidated or feel resentful or angry about what's being said to you, but just take it in and see it for what it is, and not make it mean too much. And my sense is it's going to remedy itself. So it's one of those things that it could also be too that we worry or we have guilt over things, and so we can anticipate something that's not going to happen. So for some of us, we get a little paranoid when we hear these things. We go, what if it's that? And what if it's this? And don't create anything like that, okay? So if you can't think of anything, don't worry about it. Whatever it is, the good news is it's not a big deal. It's not going to be long-term. It's not going to be a long-term. It doesn't feel like, well, let's put it this way. As soon as I say it's not going to be long-term, it could be long-term. It could be that you get fired from a job, or you didn't get hired for a job that you wanted, or that you're asked to step down, or you're asked to take a back seat, or something like that, or you're asked to share a duty or obligation with somebody else, which you take it to mean that you haven't been doing a good job. Somehow you turn this around and look at yourself and go, I'm not good enough, or I'm not feeling good enough. The shift that's going to happen is the following week, there's going to be more of a relief around it, and you're going to see it for the good as opposed to the negative, and it'll have a new light on it that actually feels much better. And then we have a new moon January 20th. And that new moon for you, Libra, is a lot of creative energy coming in, a lot of opportunity around the heart. I feel a lightness there. I feel an excitement there. There's a rhythm, there's a movement that you haven't had in a long time. So there may be a project that you were working on that was stalled or maybe even dead that you blew new life into and that you're really excited and creative about. And that could be at the beginning of this. We have Mercury goes retrograde January 21st to February 11th. And that is the planet of communication. And I see for you guys, for Libras, it's going to be a lot of creative energy that's unleashed during that time. So you may have a time to go in. Everything sort of slows down during a retrograde, and it gives you an opportunity to really focus and handle more things and get caught up. So there's a great period of time for you to be able to withdraw and do some things that need to be done, giving you a chance to get caught up and reconvene and relook at some things that you wanted to make happen. So all in all, it's a really good energy for you guys. Now, we also know during a retrograde that it's, our electronics go a little haywire. Sometimes our cell phone go a little nuts. Some of you may experience a little challenge with a car or your electronics in your car. That's all kind of just typical retrograde things. Generally not a big deal. You handle it and move on. Okay, so now let's look overall for your money, Libra, for the month of January. What can you expect? Okay, so very nice. Right away coming in January, it feels like there's a new flux of money coming in. And then it feels like around the January 10th, a big bow. I'm seeing a big bow around something nice. So there's a gift of money or something of sustenance for you around January 10th. And it does feel unexpected, so it's very nice. And it may have to do with Saturn leaving your sign because it feels like as the Saturn leaves, there's gifts to be brought in. So there's this new gift. It could be in the form of a financial position given to you, an opportunity given to you that is like, here's a new job. Instead of just me giving you X amount of dollars, I'm going to ask you to do X, Y, Z for me, and that's going to earn you this money. So it could be tied to a job, or it could just be given a flat out gift of money to you, but it's an unexpected gift around the 10th. That's nice. Then there's also, for the rest of the year, it feels like your finances are going to grow. And I also see you keeping more of a watchful eye on your money, being a little more cautious with where you spend your money, wanting to see your money grow, which is kind of interesting for Libras because we like the pretty things, don't we? So I see you wanting to, grow your nest egg a little bit more and get a little more stability under your feet. So that's a good thing. So this year, Libra is definitely more stabilizing for your financial money and your concerns. So much better than it has been in several years. Now, as far as your relationship goes, if you're in love with somebody in a committed relationship, what can you expect for the month of January? Let's tune in and find out. Nice. I feel like there's an effort going on in the relationship from both of you wanting to be a little more focused on each other. I do feel some sporadic travel happening within the relationship. So, you're zigging, they're zagging, but when you come together, it's very nice. It's connected. There's a really nice weekend. I'm seeing January 16th, 17th, 18th. It's a real close, heart opening. I see you growing closer together in your love and in your communication and your style with each other. So that's really nice. And I feel like it's really locked up and it's going to support you for the entire year. So this momentum, this energy is going to carry you throughout the year. This insightful way of doing things. There might even be some sort of event that happens in terms of maybe you decide to go to a retreat together, or you end up going to marriage counseling or something, or some sort of counseling together that's going to reignite the passion that you have with each other. So it feels like there's lots of opportunity this year to deepen the love that you have and share with each other, and you may be spurred on to go to a higher spiritual retreat or something together. So it's a really nice energy. Now, if you're single, what can you expect in January? Well, I feel like you have several friends who want to hook you up. So I feel like there's several different people at the same time wanting to say, oh, go out with this guy, or go out with this guy, or go out with this guy. And you're kind of like, I don't know. And I think it's going to pass. And I think that you're going to open your heart and decide that, you'll be ready to date again. It feels like during the retrograde period, there may have an opportunity, not so much from the past, but to deepen something within yourself that allows you to heal so you can love. I feel like this pain in my back, like I've been backstabbed. It could be from a divorce, it could be from a death, it could be from a breakup. But and I feel like as you deal with that, it's going to open it up to really deepen a relationship. So you could meet somebody in mid part of January, January 20th, January 15th, somewhere around there. And then as you get into the retrograde, you're actually now compelled to work on your own garbage so you can have a deeper relationship. So this guy or this girl inspires you to like, wow, I gotta get my stuff together. I gotta get over this other relationship because there's somebody new in front of me and I don't want to drag my fears into this new relationship. So I see some of you really working hard on your heart and forgiving and forgetting and letting go during that time period of January 21st to February 11th. Wow. And a lot of it has to do with speaking up, getting your needs met, saying what you want, that sort of thing. So you'll be doing a lot of work around the communication. Okay, now your health for Libras. That's when you expect, Libra, for the month of January. Well, I feel like there's a revamping going on. Some of you feel a little bit like a meat cleaver, like you're being pounded from all directions and trying to figure out what works best for you, or you're being put through the grinder. Here's the good news. I think that you're going to get clarity about what works for you. I feel like you're going to be fed up with things that don't work for you, and I see you just like starting over. This is what I'm doing, this is what I'm sticking to it. So you're going to have more fortitude. Definitely feel like more fortitude coming into your energy, especially after this first week, after the 10th. I feel like there's more of a desire to get on board, get focused, and just no nonsense. This is what I'm doing. This is my exercise. This is my way of eating, and done. I'm done for life now. This is just what I'm going to do. And I feel like a lot of you are there, and that's what you're going to do. And you're letting kind of like the nonsense of the emotional nonsense go to the wayside. You're not reacting anymore out of emotions or eating bad things out of emotions. It just feels like some bad habits are changing, and you really have more information about your body and about your health to get well and to stay healthy and to stay whole. So it feels really good for you guys all in all for the whole year. So really, Libra, I like everything that I'm picking up for you for 2015. I think overall you're going to see a crescendo of your career amplified. Some things are going to fall on the wayside. Some things that you were doing that aren't as profitable that you're doing right now won't be carried through. I think in this first 3 months of January, you're going to like clear your plate, what's not working. And some of you are going to be set up with a whole new dynamics, completely different, where people are coming to you. They're showing me like you actually having your plate and not working, and so you're getting rid of these things, and the plate's gone, and this whole basket of goodies comes in that's already ready, prepared, healthy, happy. So and it's around your career. So there's a lot of positive things happening with your career, and support for you in being able to be seen and heard. So I think the year continues to expand for that. There may be even some like red carpet treatment in July, surprise treatments in July for you, and definitely an expansion of your worth and your value and appreciation of who you are. So you guys just keep working hard, and it's all going to come together. So thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel in 2014 and for liking my Facebook page and sharing your comments on my videos. I absolutely appreciate it, and sharing them with your friends. And I look forward to supporting you in 2015. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Scorpio. If you're a Scorpio born October 23rd to November 21st, what can you expect for the month of January 2015? Let's tune in and find out. Oh, Scorpio. Okay, right away. I feel like this excitement, like something nice happened for you at the end of December. And it feels like an invitation, whether you just got engaged, whether you just found out you're pregnant, whether you were surprised with a great vacation or trip or bonus from your boss. It feels like it ended on a really nice end of the year. So that's nice, going right into your energy. It feels like you're excited. And it could even be that it was good news that a loved one had and shared with you. Maybe you had a sister who's getting married, or maybe you have a best friend who got engaged or just got a big promotion or sold their company or something. It feels really exciting. It feels really positive. Now, for you, for the opening in January, there is a full moon in Cancer, January 4th. And for your energy, I just feel a little, I feel a little down. I feel like, maybe a lot of the holidays took a lot out of you. I feel it's just a little flat, like you're a little flat, you're a little tired, just kind of like, moving along. Um, I don't overall feel like there's any new information for you. I feel like that information may have already hit. Maybe you recently broke up with a guy and you find out they're already dating somebody else. It could be something like that. Or maybe, you found out that, you quit your job and your new job didn't come through and your old employer already hired somebody new. Like it feels like there's just this, I've been replaced. It feels like that, a little bit of feeling replaced energy. Or, or it could be just feeling like where your loved ones have moved on and are getting forward, moving along faster than you are. Like you look around and it seems like everybody's life is happening, but yours is not. Feel just a little sluggish, a little tired, a little under the weather. More of like a depression kind of thing. So it's not anything like really big, but just have an awareness around it, that it's the energy of Cancer, that for Scorpio, you guys tend to go in. So in, and then at the same time, you tend to like lash out. So if you're a little more irritable, a little more bitchy, it's the Cancer energy for the full moon, okay? And it is temporary. It's not an excuse to lash out at people, but if you do and you wonder what's going on with you, it's kind of in the ethers, okay? The good news is that by the 9th or the 10th, it's going to pass, it'll lift, and then you'll have this really nice breezy air, breezy energy where you're kind of back on track and back to yourself and back to the happiness that you Scorpios are. So all in all, it feels really good. Now we've got a new moon January 20th. For you, Scorpio, you may get actually some hopes and dreams come in. That means some of you may get a new contract, may get a new deal. Some of you in the fashion industry may get your design picked up, or you're an actor or a producer, you may get your film picked up, or you may get selected to do something important. If you have a research paper you're writing, it may be picked up and published. So it could be around publishing, it could be around awards and acknowledgments. So it feels like there's some award or acknowledgement that happens for you guys around that new moon of January 20th. Then Mercury goes retrograde January 21st to February 11th. And for us, that's the sign of communication. So lots of times we only get a half a story, or we don't see the whole picture. That's kind of what happens with that energy. And also electronics, cell phones, computers all kind of go a little wacko. So you just want to have an awareness around that. Generally, the rule is not to buy anything, but it's a great time to sell things. So just keep that in mind. It's also a time to kind of go in and do more quiet work, get caught up, do like rethink, redo, recreate, redecorate. It's a great time to do all of that through that January 21st to February 11th time period. Now, if we're looking at money for Scorpios, let's see that. Some of you may have received a lot of money. Like it could be that you got married, and so all of a sudden now your income is doubled or tripled based on what your partner makes. Some of you could have got an inheritance early. Some of you may have gotten sold a house or a property, or gotten funding for your school or business, but it feels like there was a lot of money kind of pushed at you or come in. It could have been a divorce and you could have received an award, from the court. So it feels like a lot of money could have come in for you at the latter part of this year, or that it's about to come in early January. The good news is I see that there's a little confusion as to what to do with your money or how to spend your money. And I feel like for some of you, it's a bit of a burden. Like it's like, it weighs on you and trying to figure it all out. But I think you're going to get the right support for you, especially there may be somebody that comes back in your life, January 21st, that, this Mercury retrograde to February 11th, that was a close personal friend, that they may have some ideas. They may have gone through something like this, or just kind of like out of the blue, make a casual remark that you go, why didn't I think of that? That's brilliant. Of course I'll do that. So it feels like kind of the money problems are handled the right people kind of come in, or the right influences show up at the end of January. Now, you know, of course, you don't want to sign anything or do something new with somebody that January 21st to February 11th that commits you long term. You just want to explore the options, and then after that February 11th period, the additional information will come in, because now the energy shifted and we can see what we couldn't see before. New information that wasn't available shows up that is important to our decision-making process. So that's why we don't do anything during that time frame. We can talk about it, but generally don't sign anything or really commit verbally to anything. It's kind of like, let's just feel it out and talk about it. And then all the information generally within 2 or 3 days of the retrograde ending, which in this case would be around, 12th, 13th, 14th information, which should start to be more accurate and come in, and easier to assess the situation, especially in regards to your money, for you guys, Scorpio. And as far as the year goes for you, I feel like you start to invest it wisely in something that is really interesting and fun, and it makes you feel smart. Whatever it is that you start to invest in, you start to feel like you're really smart about it, which is a good thing, because you're informed, and I feel like you're going to make some good decisions with your money this year. So that's really positive. Now, as far as your relationships go, let's look at those of you that are married or in a long-term committed relationship. For Scorpios, what can you expect? There's a little bit of hierarchy going on initially in the relationship, where either you're giving your power away or your partner's giving your power away in this early in January. And I feel like that sort of settles down around the 20th. So this first week or two, it feels like a little bit of jockeying for position. Neither one of you kind of giving up control, and it just feels like it sort of settles in around the 20th, and with that new moon energy, and then it really comes back whole and perfect and really beautiful. So whatever's kind of going on with holding, or these power trips that you guys are having with each other, not a big deal. It's temporary, and you're going to work it out. Now, if you're single, and a single Scorpio, let's look at whether or not you'll get into a relationship this month, what the possibilities are with that. Well, I feel like some of you don't want one. I feel like some of you don't want a relationship. I feel like you're wanting to hold back and just wait it out, and that's fine. There's going to be some new information that you're going to discover in that January 21st to February 11th about a previous relationship that you were in, that may make you sad. It may make you melancholy. It may make you miss or long for that other person. But that's not a reason to get back with them, okay? Because there was a reason that you ended it, or a reason you didn't go forward, or there was greater things at play, and this kind of pulls on our heartstrings during that time period, and you may want to get back. And then as soon as you get out of that retrograde, Valentine's Day, you're like, wait, why am I back with him? Wait, I don't feel good about this. So just be aware, if you're feeling melancholy, don't jump back in bed with the old guy, the old boyfriend. Just know it's kind of a temporary thing, and then just wait. Maybe if it's gonna stick, it'll stick. By Valentine's Day, you may think differently. You may go, okay, I will keep this. But for a large percentage of you, that energy is going to pull an old boyfriend back in that you're not all that interested in keeping around. So just be aware of that. And as far as new relationships go, not feeling it so much in January as I do in February. Like around that later part of February, I feel like there's big potential to have a new relationship or a stronger relationship with somebody that was a friend that turns into a boyfriend. So look, somebody who was a friend that turns into a boyfriend could happen towards the end of February. So all in all, really good for you guys for relationships. Now let's look at your health for Scorpio. Some of you have been out of breath, out of control, out of shape, tired. Your focus has been more intellectual, on doing other things, or focused elsewhere. Some of you may have been recovering addicts, and whether you abuse drugs, alcohol, sex, pills, food. I feel like there's a revival in you that happens in January, where there's a real focused energy, and you get really, really committed to your health, and like really committed to your health, and no more messing around. So some of you may have already been on that trajectory for the last year or two, but this year it ramps it up to a whole new level. Like you really get even more serious about it, and more focused and more positive about it. Some of you may be trying to get pregnant. this year too, and I feel like that's really positive for you, especially in March. I see like a real positive birth around March 15th, March 20th, the end of March. March, April, and May is like lots of energy for fertile energy, for pregnancy, for babies, for weddings, for that sort of thing. So Scorpio, I really feel like that direction. If you don't want a baby, then be extra careful those 3 months to keep things under control, under wraps. Okay, overall for you guys, Scorpio, for the 2015, it really feels like there's a lot of opportunity for you to pick and choose what you want to have happen, where you want to go, what you want the year to look like. You have a lot of power, and you can be your own worst enemy by being too picky, too persnickety, too down on yourself or negged out. So just watch that about yourself. You're going to have a chance to correct that and be a little more kinder to yourself and a little happier for yourself. So all in all, I feel like everything grows exponentially this year, your happiness, your prosperity, and your health, so as well as your finances. So amazing year for you guys. Thank you so much for watching my star signs in 2014, for liking my Facebook page, and for adding your comments and sharing with your friends. Really appreciate it, and I look forward to supporting you this year, 2015, and Happy New Year. So if you're a Sagittarius, born November 22nd to December 21st, Happy New Year. So what can you expect if you're a Sag? Let's tune in and find out for the month of January. So right away, Sag, there's going to be something that's going to try your patience in early January. It may be someone close to you, it may be a child, it may be a family member, it may be a parent, but I see your patience challenged. And especially this first week, we've got actually a full moon in Cancer on January 4th. And so this energy is a little bit of a combative energy. It's a little bit of an irritant. It's a little bit of he said, she said, and it just feels heightened, right? So it's nothing really severe, nothing that you can't get over, but it definitely feels like it's centered a lot around family and around miscommunication and around things that are out of your control. So it could be that family members make decisions that affect you, that are out of your control. It could be, at an extreme, an inheritance that you didn't get, that somebody else kind of screwed you out of. Another extreme would be losing a court case that you were guaranteed to win. Things like this, unexpected losses and things that are out of your control, where a decision is made by someone else that is out of your control. Maybe a partner wants to leave you, whether it's a business partner who wants to come and dissolve the business, or whether it is, but it's a situation that sort of makes you feel like it's been done to you and that there's nothing you can do. Or you want out and somebody won't let you out. Maybe you want divorced and your partner won't divorce you. Or maybe you want out of your business and your business partner won't let you go, or is sucking onto you or holding onto you for dear life. So it's a situation that you can't get out of, and it's out of your control. And I feel like it may escalate. And I feel it right here in my throat. May escalate during this full moon, this first week of January 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. If I would avoid at all costs, adding fuel to the fire. I would, try and ask questions and maybe talk about it at a later date, but the information is going to be there for you to figure out. The good news is by January 9th or 10th, it kind of blows over. You know the score, you know what to do, you know how to fix it, you know how to remedy it. So that's the good news. Now there is a new moon January 20th. And with that new moon energy, you're going to have a lot more, things are going to be more stable. There's going to be a synergy that comes in that moves you forward, that allows you to see things that you couldn't see before in terms of picking and choosing your career, what you want to do, where you want to go. I really feel like all in all, this is a really powerful time for you, in that you get to manifest. I feel like there's fast manifestation that's going to happen for you. And then Mercury goes retrograde January 21st to February 11th. That's the planet of communication. It affects our electronics. It affects our computers, our cell phones, all that sort of thing. And for you in particular, it's going to help you to kind of go inward and reassess at what you want to do, kind of figure out maybe the different career path you want to take, or the changes that you want to make in your lifestyle or with your family. And it's going to give you this time period, this 3 weeks, to be able to do that, to be able to sit and figure out the next 12 months of your life or the remainder of the year, how you want to approach things a little bit differently. So I think it's a really perfect timing for us to have that retrograde. And so it's a rethink, redo, recreate, regenerate, all of those things. So it's not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing that it slows down. It gives us time to catch our breath and work things out. So let's look at your money for the month of January, what that's going to be like for you. Well, there's going to be some additional expenses that you're setting aside for. Maybe you have a son or daughter getting married. Maybe you've got a trip or a family vacation, or maybe it's the taxes. But I see you taking money and setting it aside. So you're taking money and setting it aside for whatever it is, or maybe you're just setting it aside for a rainy day. But it feels like it has a specific intention that you're setting it aside for. The good news is you have the money to set aside, so I like that. And I think as far as additional money coming in, it feels like it's pretty steady. There may be some additional things that you do well on, and it could have to do with selling things. So that retrograde, the January 21st to February 11th, is good for selling stuff. So it could be that there's a car that you have, a second car that you don't use anymore that you want to get rid of, or just it feels like a bedroom set, big things that you use, extra computer, whatever it is that you want to get rid of. So whether it's your household items, I just feel like selling is a good thing, and you may get some more money in from the sale of something. It even could be a house. So selling things during that time period is really good. Now, as far as your personal relationship goes, if you're a Sag and you're in a love relationship, what does that look like for January? Well, initially there's a little confusion or frustration about not being heard. Basically, I'm talking and I feel like my spouse is not hearing me or my partner's not hearing me. So it's kind of like, two heads talking and nobody listening, no ears. So it's a little frustrating. But once that energy passes, I feel like, oh, that's what you meant? Oh, I didn't know you meant that. It almost feels a little bit like an early retrograde where nobody's communicating for you guys. So it's a little stressful, but not a big deal. You're on the same page and you get back on the same page quite easily. So it really feels solid, all in all, long-term relationship. Now, if you're a single Sag, what can you expect? There may be a little babying going on here. I want to curl up in the corner. I want to feel a little sorry for myself. I want to feel a little bit like the victim. Maybe you were wounded. Maybe somebody hurt you. But the good news is that's not going to last forever. And the good news is it's, if you know this about them now, you get that out of the way. You begin to recognize these things about individuals so you don't put yourself in the same sort of a situation. And feels like later on in the month, by around the 12th to the 15th, there could be somebody new that comes in. And this could even just be a good friend. It could be a good friend that's just there for you. They champion you and they support you. And they actually could turn into a potential love match, but not right now, down the road, maybe March or April. That good friend that shows up for you in January could actually turn into a love match 3 or 4 months down the road. So that's kind of nice. During the retrograde itself, I'm really seeing more of the moment meetings or conversations. Generally, when you meet somebody during a retrograde, they don't stick around. It's really kind of more of the moment relationship. So as far as you're single, I see that sort of the moment for you. Now, as far as your health goes, Sagittarius, for you, in January, it feels like there's, I feel a little tired, and I feel like there's some momentum waking you up and starting to get you back on track. I feel like, there could be people worried about you, but it feels more like it's a little bit of depression and frustration about this other situation that's out of your hands. And so it makes you want to do less and not really take care of yourself. But you are going to snap out of that by mid-January and really start to get your health back on track. If you have something serious going on, there's going to be new information for you, especially during that retrograde, during that research, redoing and recreating period. I think that you're going to get some new information, maybe even accepted into some trials or some studies if you've got something really severe or heavy going on that you need some support with. So you're going to get that information that you need. So stay hopeful, stay positive. It feels really good. So all in all, you guys, January is a really good month for you. There's creating a lot of momentum for you. In the year itself, 215 for Sagittarius, I really feel like you're a catalyst, and I see that you've got a lot of energy to bring to other people. So it's showing me you taking your energy and spreading your wealth, spreading your love, spreading your sense of satisfaction to others. You carry a lot of weight in terms of what you have to say. People want to listen to you. So this year there's going to be an expansive quality about that. So you may see yourself getting a raise or being promoted, or you may see yourself having a more visible career or just being more publicly visible. So Sagittarius, I really feel like this is a real growth opportunity for you 2/15. So it's going to be a fabulous year for you. That's exciting. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching and viewing and liking my Facebook page in 2014 and commenting on my videos and sharing them with others. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to sharing 2/15 with you and supporting you as well. So happy New Year.